Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and the crypto market. Is the top in? I've seen a lot of people post this picture saying, all right, if we line up these tops, the close of these candles here on the weekly chart, we go up, this is what we see. And it looks like, oh my God, the top is in. We're going down to zero for sure, 100%. We're going to go all the way back down. But notice something else here that's quite interesting is if you draw a line through the bottoms, it kind of stops following that ever since about 2020. So you would expect that if this linear line on the tops would line up, you would expect maybe this linear line on the bottom would line up, and it does not. As you can see, we are not getting anywhere near this line. So if this was true, we would have hit 8,300, but instead we hit 15,500. So quite interesting there, right? And if we follow this timing up above, you can see we have followed a very similar pattern for every one of these cycles, right? We have the red for the halving, we have green for the lows, and we have blue for the tops. So if you would expect that, you would be like, wow, did we really top? What is that? That's less than 50% of the time of normal, right? So normally we would top about October 6th if this timing stays similar. Again, this is just an estimate. You can never know the future, so we'll see what happens here. But I don't think so. I don't think so. So you can see that if you're using a risk metric, we have actually touched the risk metric as well. But there's a lot of other metrics that show a different story, right? So I have one pulled up on the bottom here. This is called the Bitcoin short-term bubble risk. As you can see, it basically has colors. So if we hit the settings here, if we go to style, this shows basically how close you are to the top. Basically is what this is. A bubble risk meaning a bubble pops, the price goes down. So red, orange, yellow means, hey, we're close to a top, right? No, we're not. Look at it's green right now. That's a very low setting on this, right? So if we expand this just a little bit here, there's, let's see what we got going on here. So this is quite interesting, right? It did a great job of predicting it here in 2017. It did a great job of predicting it here in 2021. Now, to be fair, this was the first top, not the second top, but what did you really gain here, right? So the top topped off about 65,000, and then we ended up going to 69,000. So I'll say close enough, right? You can see we are nowhere near that. Where's the orange? Where's the dark yellow? Where's the red? It's not here. So in my opinion, we are not at the top. Of course, we also have Trump coming into office in just a couple days. We got about a week, just over a week, until he joins the fray, as they say. We'll see what happens. If there is some massively bullish news from him, I think you'll see an absolute explosion here. So there is, in my opinion, quite some time until we get to the top. Again, I can't estimate it. I can only guess. But I would think if this linear pattern held truth, we would also see that on the bottom. Now, if we look at something a little bit different, like the logarithmic scale, right? So that was the linear scale. This is logarithmic. If you don't know what logarithmic means, it means as you go up, the numbers get much higher, right? Okay. In layman's terms, that's what you see. So down here, you see the regular linear scale, this orange scale on the bottom. And then up here, you see the logarithmic. Now, if we look at the same exact chart for this, it looks a lot different, right? This says, all right, now you can draw some very different curves from these. This is what I have drawn. This is what I have done. And you can see here, I would estimate about $218,000 for the top. We'll see how close I have. This is the price prediction I've been giving for quite some time. And then I think the bottom, I think we're going to start falling off of this, falling back to these lows here. If we have institutional investors, I think we're not going to come here, or below here, I should say. And there's another reason, and that's because every election, we've never gone below that price again. So on November 5th, the price was, wherever it is, November 5th, right about there, 68,400, right? So that's why I have it marked right here as the potential bottom. This would obviously change the curve for the bottoms, and the bottoms would start coming up, right? So the bottom might come up, I'm going to unlock this real quick. So this might come up something like this, etc. And we'll see a shift to, you know, a more narrow band going up. And also, can I control Z that? Yeah, I can. Okay. another theory is that we do something like this and we start coming up this way, and then now we do an S. We have an inflection, right? So now instead of the price coming down every cycle, now the price might start going exponentially up. So we see like an S curve, right? Some people call this the adoption S curve. So that is another option as well for Bitcoin. Now, if we look at some of the other markets, let's see what's happening here. That's kind of my theories for Bitcoin. Let me prove you basically one more time here. Let's go into the cryptoverse and look at some other risk metrics. Again, I showed these for some other coins. What was that yesterday? Oops, sorry. Go back to the dashboard, go to Bitcoin. Where are we in risk? Okay, so this is saying that right now we're only at a 50% risk. Now this is risk metrics that go through a lot of data, right? They go through social media. They go through, how many people are in the markets right now viewing videos. They go through all these different moving averages and historical data. So there's a lot that goes into this. You can see something interesting. It also predicts 219,000. So this agrees totally with my 218,000. Now it's really interesting because as the price, when we're getting really exponential in these times here, this price was lower, right? This one risk, meaning the most amount of risk, this was a lower number. I believe it was about 180,000. So it's interesting to see that now as the market gets drawn out, that means we can go higher. So it's very interesting because now it matches with my model, which is quite interesting. In the beginning, I was a bit worried because it said it was going to top about, I believe it was about 185,000 for the 100% risk. This was about, I don't know, a month ago or something, when you can see this curve was going up very quickly, even, last year sometime. So it's interesting that now it also managed to match with my model as well. So I think I'm going to be close. We'll see. I hope I'm close. If we see major adoption, maybe my number is going to get blown out of the absolute water. Or maybe we stop just a little bit short if we have something else happens. If we see an early recession, some major wars or anything like that, that is always going to come in and throw a wrench in all of your TA and all of your predictions, everything. So it'll be quite interesting to see what happens there. Now, what do we got going on here? We have some interesting things here since the market opened. So if we go to the 5-minute chart, market open 9:30 a.m. this morning. We were about 90,800. We saw a dump and we saw a decent chunk of volume. Now the price is kind of stabilizing. The volume is kind of dropping off. So just means there's not much interest and people are kind of waiting to see what happens in the market. Now I did open a couple trades this morning. Let's look at those real quick. So if you want to sign up for BitUnix as well, I have a link in the description below. It gives you a really nice discount over the amount of fees you pay if you use my link. And there's a bunch of different trading competitions. There's actually a trading competition active right now. It's very cool. I'll show it on the screen. You basically have a chance to get a pair of AirPods, a Apple Watch, and some other stuff along with a bunch of rewards. So there is some stuff going on right now. We have these new campaigns for welcome bonuses and stuff for new traders, people who sign up. You put your money in, you get matched with some extra money on top. So it's some great promotions going on right now. Use my link below, helps me out, helps you guys out. But what did I trade open this morning? So I closed a couple trades last night that were just even because I had a feeling the market was going to come down a little bit. I'm happy I did because now I'm not negative on those trades. So I opened these trades this morning. I opened one for SUI. When it was down, I opened it about 4.36. I have another one on the order book if it goes a little bit lower. Low leverage again for me. 3x leverage on SUI, 4x on ETH, and 3x on FET. FET I grabbed pretty close to the bottom, which was nice. If I click the chart right here, you can see I opened up my trade almost perfectly on the bottom, which was quite nice. So I'll open that up and we'll see what happens here. Now, again, I have 3x leverage. So the price of FET could go all the way down to 78 cents before I get liquidated. So I'm not too worried about that. That would be quite a big pullback. And I can always add margin on BitUnix. Great for futures trading, legal everywhere. Love this exchange. You can buy a bunch of small meme coins and small cap coins as well. They have a lot of spot pairs available. So I love this exchange. So feel free to use my link below to do that. But let's look at some more of the market going on right now. So Bitcoin dominance. You can see this wick here. This wick we've tested a couple times. We are testing it again, and we have tested it. So this just means, what percentage of dominance is in Bitcoin versus altcoins. Now, this means that we could potentially break this and maybe see a little bit of a reset, but there's also some hard lines here. These yellow lines I have posted that would form a little bit of resistance. If you are very heavy on altcoins, you want to see this number come down a lot. If you're a Bitcoin maxi, you want to see this number go up. So it just depends on who you are and what you're looking for. Now, if we go to Ethereum, looking very similar as the normal Ethereum does. Another interesting note is we have the bull moon today that has triggered. So I've talked about it in a couple of videos. It's kind of funny, but the moon cycles seem to have a big impact on trading. Again, I went back in a couple of videos here and talked about whenever you see this dark blue moon, you see some dumps. Whenever you see this full moon, you go some pumps. I think it's a full moon. I think it's a full moon and a new moon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not an astrologist, so I don't really know much, but you can see this has been playing out. Not always, but a majority of the time. It'll be interesting to see if that has any effect. It did kind of not work well here, though. So you can see actually we got a bear moon and it went up. And here we got a bear moon and it went up. So it didn't really work that time. And the bull moon kind of about half and half. So it actually went up, but then kind of came back down during that bull moon. So we'll see what happens here. Again, I wouldn't trade moon cycles, but if you have been trading moon cycles, you've probably been doing pretty well, especially down in this area here. I mean, look at this. Bear moon down, bull moon up, bear moon down, bull moon up. I mean, it was like really good. Look at this big bear moon, bull moon, you know, yeah, you guys get the point. What else we got going on here? So let me turn these off because it kind of makes it a little bit messy. All right, what else we got going on? So ETH, just now dumping a little bit. We'll see what happens here. Binance has been very strong. Binance has been very strong. It's been looking very strong. There's been big pullbacks in a lot of coins, but Binance has said, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to pull back as much. There was some news I covered on the channel where Binance is actually getting listed in a country's federal reserve. So that's quite interesting, right? So it was ETH, Bitcoin, and Binance getting in a strategic reserve for a country. So that was quite interesting. SUI has been extremely strong lately. It pulled back into the channel. I opened my SUI trade. You guys saw that. Solana been kind of disappointing. I have a majority of my holdings in Solana. It's my second biggest holding after Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still my biggest holding. You know, it's kind of like I don't know, the leader of the pack, right? So if I recommend a high portion of your portfolio in Bitcoin, especially if you want less risk, of course. So when things pull back, you can see right here, Bitcoin pulls back 2%. Other alts are pulling back anywhere from, you know, 5 to 10 to 15 to 20%. The really small ones, the really small coins, you'll see them pull back even more. So if you do not like risk, you'll want majority Bitcoin, or at least a big chunk of it. I wouldn't go into this upcoming president with having zero Bitcoin. I would not recommend that. If you don't have any, it might be a good time to pick some up. But anyways, Render and FET have still been performing kind of poorly, in my opinion. These are my weakest holdings that I've had. I think these are like the only two holdings I have that are still negative. So you can see Render, I'm a little bit above my cost basis, but I had to do a wash sale for taxes to basically lower my taxes for last year. So I did a wash sale. So that's why my cost basis is lower. My real cost basis is like, I don't even know, $9.50 or something for Render. So I'm waiting for that to come back. Hopefully that comes back. ENS I'm really bullish on. Dot should see a pullback. Crow I have a decent chunk in. Had a massive pump, 210% in a matter of a couple days. But then now it's kind of retracing back to the 50% level. So we'll see what happens there. ADA has not really been struggling. It's been fairly strong compared to some of the other alts. XRP has been doing very well. Some indecision here recently. It did kind of break this last support level, but now it kind of is back under it. Let's look at the 1 hour real quick on XRP. Yeah, so it took us a while to get out of here. Now we're rejecting off this $2.5 amount again, but again, we have a higher low. So XRP is looking good. XLM is looking good. HBAR looking good as well. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, HBAR definitely pulling, printing a bull flag here. We'll see what happens. ETC really low. I don't know how I feel about ETC, so I don't want to give any opinions there. Litecoin is usually what I use to transfer between exchanges, although that bit me in the butt because I I bought Litecoin here and then I moved it to another exchange to, basically change for US dollars. And then the price dips and I got to wait for it to go back to get my original money back, which kind of sucks. TARS AI, another higher low, which I like to see. This one has been struggling to get out of this bull flag here. And I think when it does, we'll see a big rip like we saw back here. I hope. I have a big percentage of my holdings in TARS AI. This is a very small AI coin that has a partnership with NVIDIA that you can also buy on BitUnix. So that one's a great one. Butthole coin tried to come back today, a little bit down. So anyways, that's pretty much it for that. Let's look at the others market real quick before we end here. Again, we're still respecting this line, unfortunately, because it's a descending line. But I don't know. We'll see what happens for the altcoin market. Now, there's a lot of theories saying that we might need quantitative easing to start. So if you don't know what quantitative easing is, that's basically the assets that the Federal Reserve holds. They'll start printing some money and they'll start doing things like that. And then that usually pushes up the price because it also lowers the price of US dollars, right? So you can see the US dollar has been rallying like crazy. So it makes it hard for cryptos and assets in general to go up because it's always Bitcoin divided by US dollars, right? So if the denominator goes up, the price goes down, right? So that's how it works. If we see this go down, you'll see risk assets like Bitcoin and stocks and everything go up a lot. VIX is the volatility index. You can see we have gone up a little bit over the past couple of weeks here. Here is the money supply from the Federal Reserve. You can see we printed a ridiculous amount of money starting in COVID 2020. And then, we've kind of pulled, not we, but the Federal Reserve has pulled some money off the books and then now it's coming back. If we break out of this and we see another big print up, again, printing money causes inflation, but things priced in US dollars, guess what? They go up. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. If this turns around and goes up, I think that will be kind of the start of the altcoin season. That was the whole point of me coming in here. I should have stated that in the beginning, but this is what people refer to when they say quantitative easing. It's basically, the money printer and just the feds on the balance sheet. So here you go. It's WALCL if you want to check it out. It is the balance sheet, total assets. Okay. So that's what we got going on. Yeah, my guess is we're going up a lot. We're going up a lot further. That is my guess, and I will stick to that. Where would we be invalidated in my mind? I think we'd have to go below 60K, 64K. We'd have to basically break this line. If we broke this line, I think we're over, and I think you're either going to hold your assets for another 4 years or maybe sell and get out. But I don't think we'll get anywhere near this. The 62, 64,000. I don't think we'll get anywhere near that. I think if we do fall at all, I think we'll at least stop by this 87-ish thousand. If we break that, any of these lines here, 78,000 would be one to. You can see there's a lot of resistance here. You basically have this channel that we followed up here. And it's also the 50% level for this move. If we get below that, I would start to worry. But again, I wouldn't get out of the market completely unless we really broke down into this range. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's very unlikely. Of course, anything is possible. But I would see a drop maybe into this area, maybe into this area, maybe into this area. Very, very low likelihood. I think if it gets anywhere near down here, there's going to be a lot of buyers and you'll see the price just absolutely skyrocket. Sometimes the price does need to come down before it can come up. So yeah, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to use my BitUnix link, please do. Helps me out. Try out the exchange. It's an amazing exchange. You can, even in America, you can use it, which is really cool. There's not many exchanges you can use to leverage trade in America. So I am having a blast on BitUnix. It's been a lot of fun. It's kind of like a video game for me, right? I trade with, a smaller percentage of my net worth, right? So I keep about 95% of my investments in spot for crypto, and then I use that 5% to trade with on here. I have a big trade open on Bitcoin right now, 5x trade. I've already pulled $1,800 of profit, and I have another $1,800 of profit. I'm up 91%. My entry was, I don't even know, about 70,000. My entry price shows higher because I have kind of DCA'd. I've taken some profits in and out as the market goes up and down. So that's kind of what I like to do here. But if we, We go to the chart here. Let's see if it shows my buys. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, okay. So you can see I sold a little bit up in here. I could probably buy a little bit more back, honestly, but you can see if I go, okay, it doesn't show any of my historical ones. It seems to have some sort of a limit there, but I was kind of buying and selling in this range as well. I did open, I think I even opened it lower than this, but since I've had some buys and sells up here, it's kind of, you know, shown that. I will take a tiny bit of profit if we hit up into this 110,000 range. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone. I do not believe the top is in, and, you know, we'll see what happens. I have a feeling in a couple of weeks, we're all going to be laughing about this little dip here because it was not much. Let's see what we're even at now at this point. We saw about a 17.75% pullback so far, at least on Coinbase. So that's it. Have a great day, everyone. See you guys.